Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So today we have the Exotek aluminium hubs for the DR10. So we're going to see what these are like to fit. So let's bring you in, get you a nice close-up look and see what we have to do to get these on. They look quite nice. I'll try and get a few close-up pictures on them and splatter them about here somewhere. Right, so first thing we're going to need to do is get the body off. And then looking at this, it's going to be wheels off, so let's quickly remove these. So we get both wheel nuts off, make it nice and easy to see what we're actually doing. So if we take a quick look at these, you're going to want the logo facing upwards. So it looks like that's the position that we're going to be fitting these. So that one that side, that one that side. So first off, we're going to want to remove the steering linkage. Then we're going to want to remove the upper and lower kingpin bolts. So that's one removed. That's the other one out. Let's see if we can prise this out now. Just be careful, you don't want to lose these little things. They go in the top and bottom. So once we've got that off, then we're going to need to remove the wheel hexes. And you should have your bearings on these. So you can just pop your bearings out. Then we're going to want one bearing in the back. You're going to want a bearing in the front. Snap them into position. Then you're going to want to get your axle back through. And then you're going to want a tiny bit of thread lock. Because we don't want this coming loose. And just be careful you don't get any thread lock in your bearings. So your wheels should spin nice and freely. Then you're going to want to make sure that you get the bushings in place. Then you're going to want to carefully slide them back into position. And then I would put, because it's going into aluminium, you want a tiny bit of thread lock on these. And then you should be able to line them back up. And then we're just going to have to flip it over. And if I can stop this one running away, again, tiny bit of thread lock. And this should screw back in nice and easy. Then we can flip it back over, and I don't believe we need the locking nut on the back of this anymore, but I would put a tiny bit of thread lock on here because we're now screwing into aluminium. So if we carefully line that back up, and then we can pop our wheel back on. Make sure you get the hex lined up. And all I'm aiming for with this is not so much the strength, but just an easy way of blinging up the RC and getting a little bit of weight towards the front, make it a little bit more stable. So on the other side, and then we'll have a spare little lock nut, and then your top and bottom kingpin screws. And just again make sure you keep your eye on these bushings because they will drop out. And again, I'm just going to want to remove the tiny little screw and get his bearings out. Then you should be able to pop the bearings all the way back in, and you'll feel them when they seat down. Then we can get that one back. Make sure they sat all the way in. Then tiny bit of blue thread lock. And you don't need to go crazy tight with these because the thread lock will be holding the screw in anyway. So once we've got that into position, you can then make sure your bushings sat in properly and just line them up. Then I'm going to need another little bit of thread lock. We can get that in position and then flip it back over. Then we're going to need his top screw, another little bit of thread lock, and I must admit the fit and finish on these Exotek parts do seem really impressive. Then we get a tiny bit of thread lock on his last screw for a steering link. And I must admit I do prefer the way that these don't rely on the locking nuts anymore. So line his wheel up. And there we have it. We've got the aluminium steering hubs and bearing carriers all in place. And it's not altered the alignment of the vehicle at all. So that's really nice. And there's not a lot of play in the actual steering setup on this RC, which is quite nice. It's not a bad little setup, the DR10. Right. So all you're left to do is pop your lid back on, and then you're done. So let's wrap this one up. Right, so there we have it. We've got as little stickers on the RC that come with it. The only bits that you've got left are two little locking nuts and the plastic hubs, you reuse your original bearings and everything, and it does seem like they fit really, really nicely. So thanks again for watching WTF Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and I'll catch you guys again in the next one.